What is up, guys? So today we're going to talk about being the world's worst drug dealer, which is me. Back in the day, I used to sell drugs. See, when you're on drugs, you've got kind of like you've got a few options, limited options. You can either be shoplifting, which is what I used to do, but I got sick of getting caught, or you can drug deal, which is high risk, but it keeps your addiction going. You don't really make any money, and really you're just joeying for other people. So, you know, I say drug dealer, I was really just a joey, but it was drug dealing. I had the phone, they were phoning me up all hours. But anyway, we're going to get into it. That's what we're going to talk about today. And I was watching, my favourite programme at the moment is 24 Hours in Police Custody. There's a couple of them that are pretty similar. Murder Suspect Number 1, Manhunt, 24 Hours in Police Custody, and I'll just call them all the same because they're all the same program, they're just different names. And what it does is they find somebody on the streets, usually a murderer or a massive drug dealer, and they'll show you the ins and outs and how they catch them and the little meetings, and you get to see behind the desk sergeant what they do. You get to see the police cells, and it's interesting, and it always brings back loads of memories, and it allows me to see what they were doing when they were after me. And I watched it last night, and what a surprise, another migrant that's killing innocent people. It's all the time, isn't it? When are people going to wake up? I mean, they've got this guy, it's so annoying, and you get these people, immigrants welcome, and they're coming over and they're killing innocent people. How many more children are going to get killed? How many more innocent people are going to get killed? But anyway, there's this guy, he's on video, next door neighbour, everything's on video now, and you could see where he was walking. They walk like they own the streets, you know, and even the copper said, oh, he's got a bit of a swagger to him, because they've got no respect. And he's gone, he's beat someone to death and then set the house on fire, and you can hear him shouting, screaming, hey, I kill you, motherfucker. And I'm just like, just fuck off, you know. It winds me up. No respect. And they're going to arrest him, and you can see he's come over here. They've let him come into this country. They give him a flat, a council flat, which is why none of us can get him, because there's none there. They're given to these sort of people. And like, if that were me, if I went to a country and they said, yeah, come into our country, we will pay you to live here, I'd be like, wow, this country's amazing. I love this country. You know, I'm going to be on my best behaviour. I won't be out walking around the streets like I fucking own the place, killing innocent people. But that's what they do, and you've got these idiots that support it. What's wrong with you? You're mentally unwell. Why would you want to live around people like this? But anyway, they've gone to his council flat, and they've arrested him, and what a surprise. Me no speako. You know, he doesn't speak English until he needs something, and then he can speak proper English. So they're going to arrest him, me no speako. And then he says, well, what's happening? What's going on? I'm like, well, you can't speak English, can you? They've arrested him, and in the video, he's just gone to a random bloke's house, screaming, telling him to give him his drugs. And apparently, this guy never got no previous for drugs, the victim. No to do with drugs. So he's just got some random bloke, told him he's going to kill him, killed him, set his house on fire, said he wanted his drugs, and he didn't even have any drugs. He was just some random bloke. How many more people are going to die before they do something? I mean, there's no wrong with immigration, but you're letting these people in that are dangerous, and they're just fucking, it winds me up, and they're paying to fucking put them here. But anyway, they've got this guy, they showed you the investigation, and and he ended up getting life in prison, which shocks me as well, because usually they get away with it, but he got life in prison, so just fucking good riddance, mate. And it put me back when they was talking about drugs to when I was drug dealing, and I was thinking to myself, fucking hell, is that what they go through when they're after someone? Because I was under surveillance, you know, there was monitoring me like 24 hours, and I remember back at the time when I was doing it, I was a heroin addict, I was just funding my addiction, and I remember, like, people used to come round, because it was like an open house, it was on top to death. There was people knocking at the door, people knocking on the back door, I was getting robbed, and absolute nightmare. And I remember people used to come round and say, you want to be careful, you know, you're going to end up getting busted, and I used to think, I don't know if I was naive or whether it was the drugs messing with my mind, But I used to think, they're not bothered about me. You know, I'm just a small-time drug dealer. They ain't got time to come after me, but they did. That's their job. Of course they're going to come after me. I'm flooding Hexthorpe with drugs, so flooding Wheatley with drugs, so of course they're going to come after me. And I remember the first time I realised that they was really after me, monitoring me, was when I was walking down an alleyway, and I can't remember where I was going. I think I was just going to my mates who lived around the corner. Like, I would go round to his for a break from all the chaos of drug dealing and just sit and have a cup of tea. And I was on my way round there, and I was walking down the alley, and I just looked behind me, I don't know why, and I seen two coppers undercover jump back like that with radios. And I thought, oh shit, I'm under surveillance. And I did end up getting busted. I was so lucky because I just sold all the last bit of the stuff. I just got into bed. I'd been up all night. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning. And I had some gear on the foil at the side of the bed because I was an addict, so of course I did. And I just had a few lines of it, and I just got into bed, and boof, the door went through. And people think, oh, well, if the door goes through, I'd just flush it down the toilet. Mate, you don't get 2 seconds. They're in, bump. You don't get even a chance to get out of bed. When they've come flying upstairs, and they arrested me, took all the property, what was in the house. All they had was the money. So they took all the money and that little bit of gear at the side of the bed, which was my own personal. And and they locked me up for that. So I just got charged with possession, and they confiscated the money, and I ended up, I think I had warrants out or something, because I ended up underneath the cells, but I had a load of Subutex around my waistband, and I went to court, and if I remember right, my solicitor says, oh yeah, it's only a warrant, so you'll probably get bail. And I ended up leaving all these subbies to this other kid. He was absolutely delighted. He was like, oh, cheers, mate, cheers. I was like, well, I don't fucking need them, I'm getting out. But yeah, I got out, and then when I went back to the house, all the doors had been busted in, and it was wide open, you know, anyone could just walk in and take my stuff. And it was, oh man, it was an absolute nightmare selling drugs. You're up all hours, right? So you're on the go all the time. As soon as you sit down, phone rings. Oh, can you do me 3 white and 3 brown? I'm so and so. So then you're off going to meet them. You come back, phone's ringing, go and meet someone else, and then you've got people knocking on the front door, people knocking on the back door, and then you've got the tax man, because there's always somebody after what you've got. And I've spoke about that before. They rang me up. These local, I could name them, but I'm not gonna. A gypsy family, and they rang me up and ordered like loads of stuff, and I should have clicked on, but I didn't. And as I was going to the alleyway to meet them, somebody was walking in front of me, so I thought, it was like 2 in the morning, so I thought I'll let him go and then I'll go after him. And as I went in, I saw him in the distance, got grabbed up, took him in the back of a transit, took machetes to him, thinking it was me. I'm like, fucking hell, that was lucky. And then there was another time, someone was knocking at the door, and I went down, and I don't know why, I had this inkling that something weren't right, so I didn't open the door, but I didn't put the lights on, so they didn't know I was on the other side of the door, and I could hear them talking about robbing me, saying, yeah, as soon as you open the door, I'll stab him in the stomach, you just get him in. I'm like, fucking hell, I'm going to get robbed here, so I didn't answer the door, I just ignored it, and I was sat there in the dark, you know, and thinking, how the fuck have I ended up here? And then there's another time when somebody came round, there was a gang of them, and they sent somebody who I knew to the door, so I looked through, and I thought, yeah, I know her, so I've opened the door, and they've come flying in, fucking beat me up, I gave them all what I had on me anyway. I had a load upstairs, but I didn't tell them about. But I gave them what I had on me, and they still beat me up anyway. And then there's another time when I was selling, where was it now? Wheatley. I got jumped then, same thing, they came in, fucking knives, put a knife to me eye. It's just a nightmare, that's why I can't stand these taxmen, and they're all on YouTube now, fucking, all the little weirdos. Oh, you're the man, you were proper hard in the day. It's like, they're just fucking bullies, scumbags. And that's what it's like, selling drugs, man, it's horrible. it's no life at all. You think, oh, it's a glam lifestyle, flying around in flash cars and that, but it's really not like that. And you're looking over your shoulder all the time. I mean, the police was driving up and down the alleyways. You get people knocking all hours, and if you don't answer, they think, like, instead of thinking, oh, well, he's not answering, he's not got out, they think, oh, he's not answering to be a cunt. So they're there all fucking banging all the hours. It's like, Jesus, you don't get no time to rest. And you get women coming round offering you sexual favours for lay-ons or for bags, you know, for a couple bags. If they're rattling, they'll say, oh, I'll do this for you. You know, we'll do a double team for you. All these prostitutes. But when you're on drugs, your sex drive's non-existent. So you're talking to the wrong person. But they offer you sexual favours, and I suppose if you was a drug dealer and you wasn't using drugs, then it'd be great, wouldn't it? But when you're a heroin addict yourself, you just don't care about sex. You don't care about women. All you care about is drugs. So yeah, it ended up the one time I was selling it, I got robbed like 2 nights in a row because I can't defend myself. When I'm a heroin addict, I weigh about 7 stone. You know, a fucking backhand would have probably knocked my head off. So I can't defend myself. I don't believe in knives and all that sort of stuff over a bit of drugs. You know, I don't think. I just don't want no to do with knives. So yeah, I was an easy target. So people used to come round. I got robbed like 2 nights in a row, and I ended up the next morning. I just said, "Fuck this! I've had enough. You know, I'm not going through this anymore." I guess that was one of my rock bottoms, and I just up and left everything. I left the house. I gave him whatever money and drugs back, and I just fucked off. And I went and got clean from drugs. It probably won't have lasted though. I would have been relapsed after a couple months, because that's what it's like in that world of addiction. You get clean and then you relapse and then you're back on it, and then you're in prison, and it's never ending. But yeah, that's what it was like being the world's worst drug dealer. I was always short on the money because people were coming round and they'd rip you off, you know. They'd give you a handful of change and say, yeah, there's 30 quid there, and then they'd run away and you're counting. There's only like 28 or 26 quid, so it all adds up. You get people coming in taxis thinking you're going to pay for a taxi. They'll ring you and say, oh, I want 2 of these and 1 of these. And then they'll come and then they'll say, oh, there's only 25 there when it should be 30 because I've had to give 5 for a taxi. But that's not my fucking problem, is it? But then I have to cover, you know what I mean? And then you get heat from that, and then when you get robbed, you have to work off your debt. So yeah, it's really not a glam lifestyle. It's shit. It's horrible, and it's 24/7, all night, all day. You don't get a chance to sleep. And that's why they're always really skinny, because they're racing around everywhere. They're not eating, they're not sleeping. That's why they look fucked. Usually when you go and meet a drug dealer. But anyway, that's what it's like being the world's worst drug dealer. If you like this video, press the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Le Syndicat d'Initiative.